Well, thank you for joining us for this episode of The Rewind. I'm Dan DeBruler, and I'm in the studio today with my co-host, Laura Bortz, and we're being joined today by a very special guest who is an author, an athlete, an educator, and her name is Trinity Bursey. So excited to have you with us today, Trinity.
Thanks for having me.
This is The Rewind. The Rewind. Conversations worth hearing again from the WCLN studios in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Trinity, you've got a fantastic book here. We've had the opportunity to read through it. This book most definitely reads like a process. Tell us a little about that.
When I started praying about writing, I thought about my own life. And I thought about maybe some of the things that I have done in my life. And it really came about because I'd always been a sports and athlete. And so I'd always played sports and always had been about performing and what I could do to kind of earn like acceptance or, different things. And when I had finally finished my career with sports, I kind of really looked back and was like, okay, so what defines me now? Like, who am I now? And I really just felt God just build me back up and let me know that I'm loved no matter what I could do, no matter, just the things I could achieve, that I was just loved for me. And I think that really kind of helped with the story and formulating the story. To let this little piano named Lyric understand that she's loved unconditionally, not about what she could do or how she could perform, but just for being her.
And what a great story for you to be able to tell, especially with what you do professionally. You're an educator.
I am. So I'm a special education teacher, and I teach both middle school and elementary school. So it's fun. It's a lot of work.
Just thinking about how God brings you from place to place, and He does things in your life that you just never thought you would do. You were a psychology major. You were just talking about that. You said, I never thought I would be an author. It's just crazy how the Lord brought that around. What was that process like? Figuring out that this was what God wanted for you. This was the route you were going to take.
I think just trusting Him and starting that writing process, and just really after I'd written it, looking at it and thinking, wow, I just feel, a peace about this. I feel like this is something that's impactful. This can help not only little kids, but, I like to call adults as big kids too. It's a message that can speak to many different age groups. And I really felt like, wow, I love doing this. And I love sharing the book with schools and kids and adults. And I love bringing that sense of hope to people.
What kind of places have you shared it, and what have been the reactions of the people that have heard it?
So I've shared it with my students, and they absolutely love it. They always talk about Lyric. They always say, we want to hear more about Lyric.
Well, and you have that, she's brought this little replica of Lyric.
I have.
This sweet little piano, which is the name of the book, the little piano.
Yes.
It's a purple little felt guy, and she's sitting over there, and with all of the details made of felt. It's really cool. Maybe we'll take a picture and post it on our Facebook page.
We should.
But what have been some of the reactions that you've got?
Some of the reactions, the kids just absolutely love it. I've got to go to schools, do an assembly. I've got to go into classrooms, libraries, and I'll even be in Barnes & Noble this weekend. So I'm really excited about that.
And you're talking about the Barnes & Noble in Fayetteville. Is that going to be a book signing? Or?
Yes, so to be doing a book signing, a read aloud, and I'll also have a few fun raffle giveaways like wristbands and T-shirts and all that fun stuff.
Now, when I looked through the book the very first time, I was immediately struck by the depth and the quality of the illustration. How did you come by an illustrator that did that detailed and beautiful work?
That was totally just God. I go to church, Covenant Love, and the illustrator, he's also a member there, a good friend himself. Mr. John Scholl and his wife Marjorie are just amazing people, and he was just able to really take what was on paper and just formulate it into pictures, and he did an awesome job. He's amazing.
I have to agree with that wholeheartedly. It's very well done. And the story, like Laura mentioned when we first started talking, it's this beautiful story of redemption and value and worth, and to anybody who knows and walks with God, we can easily see the God in this story. Mm-hmm. We can see a God that values us in this story. Do you get that kind of reaction from people who are non-believers? And I don't know if you can gauge, one from another when you're doing a story reading. Do people get that? Do they get the story?
Some people do, some people don't. And the thing I love about this story, too, is that it has many different layers to it. You can, for me, of course, I love to see it as the redemption story of really feeling like we have to find acceptance out in the world by doing things, and then realizing that all along, God loves us just for who we are. But, of course, some people may look at that a different way. They may think they are loved unconditionally by their family, by their community. It can take on different forms. And in its simplest, form, too, it can also be seen as showing how to build others up. With our hands, we can either do it for selfish gains, we can use others, we can kind of be harsh with people with our hands, or we can use our hands to help. So sometimes it can also be seen in different ways on the way that children can understand it as well. Use our hands to help build people up with our words, with our actions, things like that. So I love how it can have different depths to it.
The story of the little piano easily falls into the category of an allegory. And the great thing about an allegory is that it can have those many layers and be applied in so many different ways, in so many different circles, and we all get the message in some way because it's just so well done. Congratulations on a fantastic book.
I can't wait to share it with my son. I have a 1-year-old, and
awesome.
He loves books. Loves books.
That's awesome.
And it helps when he's got one that has some beautiful illustrations. So I'm very excited to share it with them. And hey, if you guys get a chance, if you're out in Fayetteville this weekend, Trinity is going to be at Barnes & Noble. What time is that on Saturday?
That's from 2 p.m. to 3:30.
2 p.m. to 3:30. Well, you could go pick yourself up a copy of this book and even let your kids meet the author, which we don't get to do very much anymore. So that's pretty cool. And it's just a great book and just another way to tell people, your children, in fact, about Jesus and what he has actually done for us. And it's really easy to understand. And this is a cool way to hear about it. So thank you so much.
No problem.
Now, if people are unable to make it to the book signing at Barnes & Noble on Saturday, how can they connect with you and with the little piano and maybe get a copy in another way?
They can always go to Amazon. The book is there. The book is also on cbd.com. Also, there's my personal website if they'd like to get it there, where I do autograph the book, and that's on littleinstrumentals.com. It's actually a fun website. It has all the characters. There's more characters in Lyric. It has their bios.
Second.
Yeah.
There's more.
There are more characters, and I'm so excited.
Pages. I saw coloring
yes,
pages.
there's coloring pages for sure.
Oh man, it's so much bigger than what I even thought.
It is. It really is. So I love this book, but I cannot wait for the other books to come out. So I've written 7 more. And so I can't wait for the next one and next one. So I'm like, I'm like biting my nails. I can't wait.
That is so cool. So it's the start of a series.
Yes.
You could make this the start of a series for your kids and buy each one as they come out. How cool. How cool. What a thing to start with your kids. Thank you, Trinity, for coming in. Again, she will be at Barnes & Noble this weekend, Saturday. Barnes & Noble on Glensford Drive in Fayetteville from 2 to 3:30, signing some books. It's going to be a good one. And, if you want more information, we'll post it on our Facebook page. Thanks for coming in this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us for The Rewind from the WCLN studios in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Hit subscribe now and watch for another episode, available wherever you listen to podcasts.